Good evening, children. Today we shall discuss about landforms. Two types of landforms. One is intrusive landform and the other one is extrusive landform. In other words, we call them as intrusion or extrusion. Now, when the magma deep below the earth comes out of the volcano, not all the magma are able to come out. Some remain inside the earth surface, and as time goes by, gradually they cool down and form different types of landform, and that's what we shall discuss. Now, when magma flows or forces itself up, as I have told you, some magma remain inside, and in the course of time they become solid and turns into igneous rock, and such body of rocks are known as or called as intrusive rock. The common intrusive landforms or rocks that are found or we shall discuss are dikes, sills, pecolith, lepolith and batholith. Now first let's discuss about dikes. So when magma forces itself up, some part of it escapes or try to escape through the rocks, the cracks in the rocks, and that too in a vertical column. Vertical, as I have told you earlier, straight up and down. So they push themselves upwards, but they could not reach the surface of the earth, and when the pressure becomes low, those magma remain where they are, and then it cools down and forms a long vertical columns on the existing rock, and they are called as dikes. So what are dikes? So dikes are intrusive rocks which are formed when magma solidifies in vertical columns in the pre-existing rock. And one example of dike is the Cleveland dike, that is in Yorkshire in England. Apart from that, much of the Scottish island in Scotland, there are plenty of dikes. The next is sill. Now dikes, as we have discussed, it goes straight up in as a vertical column, but sill spreads inside the earth. It spreads like a thin sheet. When I say thin sheet, doesn't mean as thin as a tin, but like a sheet. So a sill is a sheet-like body of intrusive igneous rock. So same like the dike, they also get stuck in the innermost part of the rock and spread itself, and the thickness of the sill can be from a few centimeters to even hundred of meters. And one such example of sill is in England, and it runs from northern England to southern Scotland, and the name of this sill is the Great Wind Sill. But these dikes and sill, they do not directly can be seen. It takes years, because once it is formed, they remain inside the earth, and because of the external forces, when the top layer of the earth gets erodes or get washed away, then they are exposed. The next is pecolith. So this is also a kind of intrusive igneous rock, and the shape of this is like an upturned saucer. You know what is saucer? I think you have seen when guests come to your house, your mom serves them with tea, and below that plate, that where the tea is being the teacup has been put, that is called a saucer. So if you turn it upside down, the small plate, so that is the shape of a pecolith, and it also lies in the upper layer of the rock. Then the next is the lepolith. Now these lepolith are formed in shallow basins in the rock beds, and lepoliths are mostly found in transversal South Africa and in the plateau of the Yellowstone Park in USA, and it is also a kind of intrusive igneous rock. Then the batholith. Now they are huge. So batholith are irregular shape intrusive igneous rock, and they are mostly granite. If you remember, granite is an igneous rock that contains plenty of minerals, and is also being used sometimes for making buildings and all, slabs. So the extent of these batholiths are quite deep. The depth of this batholith, some are unknown, but the uppermost part of the batholith is being exposed by erosion, as I've told you how the sill or the dikes comes into expose. In the same way, the one example of batholiths is the upland of Brittany, France, that is found in France. So these are intrusive igneous rock that are being formed below the earth's surface, and that comes out later on because of the erosion. Now a link will be sent to you, like how these intrusive landforms are formed, regarding dikes, sill, pecolith, lepolith and batholith. Now we shall discuss about extrusive. Now, extrusive means outside, whereas intrusive was inside, deep below, inside the earth. So when the hot molten lava or magma, when they come out through the volcanic eruption, so once they come out, in the course of time they cool down and becomes solid, and sometimes they even form small crystals. So the intrusive landforms that is being formed by the solidification of magma are cinder cones, acid lava domes, basic lava domes, composite cones and caldera. These are some extrusive landforms. Now cinder cones. Now cinder cones are made up of small pieces of solid lava. That is, when the lava is being thrown out from the central vent, the pipe, so some amount of lava gets sticks to the cone, and in the meantime, in the course of time, they cool down and become solid, and that is known as cinder cones. Likewise, acid lava domes are steeply sloping cones. And then the shape is also like a cone, ice cream cone, so in that shape, and they are formed when the sticky lava becomes solid very quickly. Then the basic lava domes, formed out of dark colored igneous rock that contains no free quartz. Quartz is a kind of sticky materials or mineral. Then the composite cone are composed of more than one vent. And the last one is caldera. Now caldera is a large basin shaped crater. Now caldera is formed when the volcanic cone collapses or breaks down, and It can be also formed when there is a volcanic eruption, and because of the force, the topmost part sometimes gets removed and only the bottom part of the volcano is being left out, like a basin, a hole type. And the largest known caldera is Sao caldera, and it is in Japan. Also, the Crater Lake in Oregon and North America is one example of caldera. So this was the extrusive landform, and as I have told you earlier, the link regarding how these things are formed I'll send you in your group so that you'll be able to understand better. Now we shall discuss about types of volcanoes. So a volcano may be active, dormant or extinct. So these are three types of volcano. What are they? They are active, dormant or extinct. Now active volcanoes are those which erupts frequently, and at present in the world there are about 500 active volcanoes, and the biggest active volcano is in Hawaii in the USA, whose name is Mauna Loa. It's the name of an active volcano. Now one more thing I would like to tell you, do find out the names of 3 active volcano, 3 dormant volcano and 3 extinct volcano. This is one activity I am giving you. Now let's come to dormant volcanoes. Now dormant volcanoes are those that have not erupted for many years, but in the near future they can erupt again. Like you can say they are sleeping, they are not awake now, but they can awake at any point of time. And one example of dormant volcano is Mount Fujiyama. And dormant volcano exists in Mexico, Hawaii and Japan. Then the last type of volcano, that is extinct volcano or dead. Now extinct volcanoes are those which were once active, but in the course of time they no longer erupt, or they will never erupt again in the future. That means they are dead. But before becoming an extinct, the volcano passes through a stage where the volcano leaves gases and steam, and eventually they die. And one such example of extinct volcano is in the United States, Mount Hood and Mount Rainier. So this is about the types of volcano: active, dormant and extinct. The next that we shall learn in the next class is about the distribution of volcanoes in the world, good effect and bad effect of volcanoes, earthquake, causes of earthquake and the effects of earthquake. Till then, bye. Thank you.